Good morning. It's a very pleasant one. I've had a week off. I could have made a video, but I decided not to, partly because I was sick, partly because I've been doing a lot of traveling and I wanted to relax, and you see, the video I'm making now, it's sort of a video I've been avoiding, because in a way it's admitting your enthusiasm, your passion has kind of faded. So I want to talk about making content, and the reason why I guess I'm not too happy with some of the previous videos I've made. I don't feel like I've given it my all. I don't think I've done anything too interesting, or said anything too interesting, or looked at subjects in a way where I feel I usually look at subjects. And one of those reasons is there's been something what's been sort of following me. I started making these videos as sort of like a diary. I started making them as a way to get things off my chest. I started making them as a way for, if you like, therapy. I started making them as a way to try and connect to people or out there. And I feel I've done all those things. But what's been happening recently in my life is when I've been traveling, I've been finding this peace. When you're living your life for real, you don't necessarily have time to think about things. Of course I'm thinking about things, of course I'm thinking about video topics, and of course I have a notebook full, well, it's on my phone actually, I have notes on my phone full of topics I want to talk about. But the problem is, there's kind of two things happening. One of them is there's so much content out there now, and there's so many people with different voices talking. I myself kind of feel exhausted by it, and I myself are getting kind of a little bit annoyed at the content that exists. I find myself, if I watch a video, I'm able to predict what said person is, I can feel my hay fever starting, what said person is going to say. I can almost finish their sentences. And I feel things are getting a little boring and a little stale. And I look at my own work, and I look at my own self, and I think, am I adding to this? Am I actually actively part of the problem? This idea that we all need a voice, we all need to talk. Now, of course, I'm somebody who makes my living, makes my livelihood off of having a voice and having something to say, and my thought. Most of my ambitions and my goals are down to, I want to visit this place to learn about the history, to learn about the culture. I want to add this to my life. I always want to do new challenges. I want to try rollerblading. I want to try climbing. I want to try baking. I want to try all these different things. And when I'm in the pursuit of that, I guess you can say I'm happy, and I'm not really thinking about my output and giving. And you start to take on this thing of, I am just analyzing everything around me. I'm analyzing, and I'm thinking of how I can put this into a video. And at the back of your mind, because I'm talking to a crowd now, an audience now, you're always trying to, in a way, please the audience. And many times you say something what is not entirely well thought out, and the reason why you say that is because you were rushing to the point. I do a lot of free-form speaking, and I listened back to the video and I think I didn't really mean that, or a week later I changed my view on it. So my view is always changing and adapting, and I think a lot of you, maybe my current subscribers, are okay with that, and they can accept that if you're watching this channel, you're not watching something what has a sort of, a stick in the mud. I'm not I'm not telling you how exactly it is. We're exploring. The same way in this video, I'm kind of exploring alternatives and other ideas. But there's just this. I just kind of feel lost amongst all the content what's out there. And this is I'm quitting video. This is all part of the ride. I see this as whatever number video this is. This is the part where I felt like this, and then in another 10 videos I feel this way. I see this is all part of the sort of the performance I'm trying to do. But I've just found this sort of own peace in my life, and the own peace has sort of stopped me from wanting to talk, because my own life is completely different from me speaking to you now, or the perception of me what my friends or my well, I say friends, acquaintances have of me. The perception put on me by others, and this is of course something we all face. We all, and I myself, look outwardly at somebody and I think, perhaps that person is this way, perhaps that person is that way. It's something we all do. It's part of his survival mechanism. Part of it is how we take in information. So I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad thing, but there's this idea that when you're away from the public light and when you're away from people, you don't feel exhausted. You feel, well, I certainly do. I feel relaxed. When I've been traveling, it's just been mostly me and myself, and I've had to face challenges where I'm the one who I have the responsibility to deal with this challenge. Some of them have been physical, some of them have been mental, some of them have been timekeeping. And when you take on those challenges, when you finish those challenges, you have this sort of sense of peace that, before it's this thing of, I've accomplished this, I'm going to accomplish this so I can then feel good about it and then let other people know that I'm not weak, or I'm not going to be stepped on, or that I want to be successful, whatever it is. But when you're actually achieving things on your own merits and on your own terms, you don't actually... everything else kind of just disappears and sort of fades away. So this sort of peace that I've had is this understanding that outside all the talking we do on the internet and in media, we all, there are people who have, when you look at a YouTube video, or when you look at somebody sprouting off on some media, I don't know, outlet, podcast, whatever, that person is taking a stand, and if you don't agree with it, you go against that person. It creates this very rigid sort of, not even debate, I don't like that person doesn't like me, and that's it. When you're in the real world, you come across people with flexible opinions, and you come across people who, even if they don't agree with you, they are willing to listen and maybe learn, or you're willing to listen and learn off them. I had a conversation with a friend I made recently that I wouldn't want an expensive watch. It's just not my thing, and that person is somebody who does want an expensive watch. So in a way, we're cut from two different backgrounds, and we have complete conflicting ideologies of what we want out of life. But because we're not on the internet and not up here, we're able to still be friends, and we're able to still have a good time together, and we're able to put our differences aside and sort of move on. So when I've been traveling, and when I've been spending more time out here, when I've taken a bit of time off, you really do become extremely grounded, and you kind of stop caring. When you're younger, and all you care about is kind of, you want to, out of your friendship group, you want to be successful. You don't want to be the person left behind. You want to be the first person to get a girlfriend or boyfriend, or the first person to get a good job, or whatever. And even to this day, when you're a bit older, there's this sort of embarrassment, like you don't want to be seen to fail in front of your family or in front of your friends. Well, as of recently, I've just been, I've been walking my own path, and I haven't really been giving much thought. I haven't even had time to give much thought to other people apart from my friends, and it's just really kind of freed me up. And within that, it's something that's been happening to me for about a month or 2 months now. Like, when I first started making these videos, I think that they were a lot more raw. I really was just coming out here and talking. Sometimes I try a few stunts. Then I went to the thing where it just sort of became a bit of a job. Like, as soon as I started getting a few subscribers, it became I'm going to go out and do this now. And as of recently, because I've sort of become a lot more relaxed and a lot more free, there isn't really. It's like, I'll give you an example now. It's like, so I made a video about anxiety, and I suffer with anxiety. I'm still suffering from anxiety, but there's this new sort of wave that's come over me of, there's so much information out there, and I don't need to be telling people about this. I need to work this out myself. And in a way I have. The way I've actually worked it out is just by committing myself to life. Some people might say this is a bad thing because you might get burnt out, but it's what's worked for me. This is what I'm sort of getting at. What's worked for me might not work for you, or experts might not say this is a good idea, or some of you might say doing too much, your anxiety's going to bounce back, and you maybe you're right. But as of now, I've been feeling good. And that is partly because I haven't felt the need to come out here and because if you're constantly pouring your soul out, if you're constantly self-analyzing, you injure yourself. You become a kind of a burden to yourself. So I think I've developed this kind of peace, and after this video, I'm just sort of getting this out there. I'm going to obviously put on my professional cap and continue making some videos and try and achieve the work I feel I'm capable of on this channel. And that isn't a self-criticism myself. I'm somebody who I know my limits, and I know what I'm capable of, and within myself I don't feel like I've met that quite yet. So I'm very ready to take that on again. But just advice to you out there, just step away from the social media and just step away from the internet and see how that and see if there's any benefits. I tried to stop scrolling on my phone. I even tried to stop taking too much information as well, and just let things sort of dissolve around me. Okay, ciao.